Hello guys, welcome back to another Greenman Gaming video on Team Fortress 2, the new version of... This is going to be pretty much me talking about what the fuck they did to TF2, my opinions on what they did. I personally, when I first logged on, I'm going to be totally honest, I bloody hated everything that most things they've done. I hadn't longed for competitive matchmaking, but I quite liked something as easy to get into like that. But the way they did it, like, the way they messed with other stuff as well, like, there was no need to fuck around with normal casual. It was just unnecessary. The normal casual was just casual, and now you have to queue it for about what almost feels like half an hour to get into a casual match, and they've pretty much just completely changed the casual that set this game apart for me, the casual that made this game something worth playing, something different. Actually, he's not a spy. But slowly, they did some stupid things, like they restricted the view model to about, I think it was like 55 or something ridiculous like that. And I was just like, what? Oh shit. I was like, what is this? I logged on and I was like, why is my view model so close? Because I've pretty much played my entire thing with, I think this is 100 or something. And I was like, what have they done? And I tried changing it back because I thought, oh, maybe it's because of the new update or something. They've reset it all or something like that. Me being a bit hopeful. But no, I typed it in, view model underscore FOV, was it 100? I think I have 100, yeah, it should be 100. And then nothing happened. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I typed it in wrong. Typed in, Googled what I should type in, and yeah, nothing happened. And then I did a bit of Googling, because that's what you do, and it turned out that you couldn't change your FOV anymore. It was stuck, and then you had this minuscule thing, which is just ridiculous. But slowly I've come back to it, and it's occasionally I'd come back on and see what they'd done, because there was lots of updates for it, because it fucking needed them. And it seems that they've changed some of the game. Well, they haven't changed the gameplay. They've changed the FOV, which is my favourite thing that they've done so far. But they've still got this stupid casual competitive blah 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 where you have to wait for about an hour to find a match, and then competitive is just a bit of a joke at the moment. I have faith though, because games like CS:GO, they've done that pretty well. The competitive Valve have. It's just the idea was good, but the execution just wasn't there. And that's my personal opinion. Your opinion may differ, but yeah, I don't mind the idea of competitive, and yeah, but there was no need to mess with casual in the process, and that was always going to fucking happen. But yeah, I'm slowly getting to grips with what they've done to TF2. It's still not quite there, but everything takes time. Excuse me? Yeah, that wasn't going to work out for you, man. It's going to take time, but I have faith that Valve... It would appear they've sort of started listening to us, because that was their main problem. They wouldn't listen to the... Well, it would appear that they didn't listen to the community. They might have slightly listened, but it's just... They, from certain sources, which I can't remember off the top of my head, they tended to only talk to competitive players, and then competitive players makes up what, like, a percent or 5% or whatever percent of the actual TF2 community. So because they don't communicate with the majority of the TF2 community, they wouldn't know what we actually wanted. They only knew what a select few who pretty much play the opposite of what everybody else plays when they play this game. And then that just was recipe for disaster almost, because they needed to listen to the majority. They've changed the game, based it around something that TF2 isn't for a lot of people. It's not a competitive game. Like, I would jump on here and I want to quick search, find a payload match or objective match, and then I would be happy because it'd take literally like 20 seconds to find something if I'm unlucky. But now, with ridiculous wait times and crap like that, I just don't have the will really to play this game that much anymore. Like, I think I put like 600 odd hours into this game, which is, in comparison to some, ain't a great deal. So I'm kind of happy about that, but I've put all those 600 hours isn't much by some standards. That was a large majority of my childhood. I'm only 16, so it's still not too important, but it's not ruined TF2 for me. It's just altered my opinion on Valve. I not lost faith like completely. I'm just not at a loss for words, but I don't know what to say really. It's just not the TF2 that it was, and that kind of upsets me because TF2 had a few core things that, for me, set it apart from, say, CSGO or any of the games that I play. It was fun, it was casual, you didn't have to play competitively. Of course you could if you wanted to, but you had to put a bit more time into it. But yeah, I don't know, it's getting better, that's all I can say, it's getting better. It was at a real low point when it first came out, but it's slowly getting better. I'm not sure how long. It's like a process of healing. It's gonna take a while, but it should get there eventually. It's not like it's irreversible, although it certainly hasn't done good for some people's opinions on TF2 and Valve. But for me, TF2 will always sort of hold a place for me. Just randomly running. It will always hold a place for me in my heart, and the core mechanics are still there. It's just not TF2 as I grew up knowing it. It's sort of, I don't want to say it's a worse, well, it is a worse version, that's it. It's just a worse version. They just straight downgraded it. That's all I can say. It was such a good game. If you wanted to competitive, I'll admit it was reasonably hard to get into competitive, but that's good because at least you didn't have people with like no hours coming and playing, and you had like the full separation. So people that knew how to play it would play it competitive. But I'm not trying to judge anybody. This is quite a hard thing to talk about. But I think I've played like 2 or 3 matches. But there's either hackers, somebody that doesn't know how to play, and then somebody that leaves. And that really pisses me off because TF2 was my all-time favourite game. I'm gonna have to put it out there. It's just straight up my all-time favourite game, and it still is to a certain extent, but it just isn't what it used to be. And if you can even hear me over this Hulon heater, and yeah, it's just not. It's not TF2 for me, and it kind of, because I put a lot of my childhood spare time into playing this. I'd go around to a mate's house with my laptop and I'd play it. It's just kind of sad for me to see such a good game not fall apart, just not be what it should be. I'm like, eh. It's a good game, don't get me wrong, still, but it's just not what it not should be, but it's what we would like, what I would like to see. I'd like to see it pretty much not completely return to normal, because of course it had some kinks, but yeah. Bring back old TF2.